BWOne here from BWOne, and in this video I want to give you my overview of the Samsung Galaxy Note 4 and the Note Edge. This is all the info that you need to know. Let's jump right into it and talk about the Galaxy Note 4, a very exciting device but a very familiar device at the same time too. It's coming with the specs that you would expect inside of a premium smartphone these days. It comes with a 2.7 GHz quad-core processor or a 1.9 GHz octa-core processor. That's going to depend upon what country you live in. Basically, if you have LTE in your area, you're going to get the quad-core one. If not, you'll probably get the octa-core based one. Now for display, it's rocking a 5.7-inch display, typical to what we've seen in the Galaxy Note 3, but it's coming with Quad HD resolution. It's a Quad HD Super AMOLED display, so you're going to get 2560 by 1440 resolution on it. Sharp, vibrant, it's going to look really good. We've seen these type of displays before on the LG G3 is one example of that. You know how good these look, especially when content is optimized for it, so pretty excited for that. Besides that, it's rocking some pretty typical stuff that you normally get out of most smartphones these days. It has 3 GB of RAM, 32 GB of internal storage with micro SD card expansion availability up to 64 GB. It's coming with a 16 megapixel camera, but a little tweak there. It's coming with OIS, so that's going to help with low light photography, and it's going to help keep your photos stable a little bit better there. So if your hands are shaking a little bit, it's going to be able to take the photo a little bit better for you. Now, one cool change is the front-facing camera is 3.7 megapixels with a wide angle lens, so it's going to be able to take a nice wide selfie for you. We kind of tested that during the event. It was pretty fun to use and pretty cool to use. So you people that are addicted to selfies, now you're going to be able to include more people in your selfies, and it actually has some pretty good quality with that particular front-facing camera. Usually front-facing camera is a little bit weak, but this actually looks pretty good, so I'm pretty interested to really give that a try. And also with the 16 megapixel camera, I'm really interested to see how well that works with OIS, and also how that works with the HDR mode and all the other settings that Samsung usually throws inside of there to give you a premium camera inside your phone. Now, some additional features that you would see inside of it. Truthfully, it's a lot of stuff that came from the Galaxy S5. It's going to have ultra power saving mode. It's going to have the fingerprint reader on the front of it. It's also going to have the heart rate monitor on the back. So these are stuff that we've seen before that Samsung, as usual, carries from one device onto the next one, and it's carried it from the Galaxy S5 into the Note 4. So you're going to get that inside of there. Besides that, there's not too much difference other than around the nice little metal rim around the sides of it to make it feel a little bit more premium, a little more solid in the hand, but it's typical stuff that you expect in the Note line. It has the S Pen also. It's optimized, so it's better responsiveness, better sensitivity, all the things that you would expect when you want to improve, when you're improving from the previous version to the next version. So they've kept it very familiar while improving on the things that people really do like about the Note 4. Now for software inside of it, it is running TouchWiz based on Android 4.4 Kitkat. It doesn't have a lot of the built-in packed-in Samsung stuff that you normally would see with it. It actually runs pretty fast and pretty smooth for now, until obviously the carriers get a hold of it and preload it with as much bloatware as they possibly can. But right now it's running actually pretty smooth, and I kind of like some of the looks of it. The only thing I would say that's really skinned heavily is pretty much the notification shade, and besides that, the settings, which is still a bit of a garbled mess, but that's just most smartphones. What smartphone doesn't have a garbled mess for a settings menu? Now, that is pretty much a Note 4, and it's really something that Samsung is kind of keeping familiar for people that have got a Note 2 or a Note 3 and they're interested in upgrading. The Note 4 is pretty much going to be that upgrade for them. They made all the changes in another device, and that device would be the Note Edge. And why is it called the Note Edge? Well, basically take all the same specs that you've seen that I talked about in the Galaxy Note 4. It has it all in here in the Note Edge, every single spec. Take the screen size and knock 1 decimal point off of it down to 5.6 inches, then look at the display and realize that it's running all the way down to the right edge of the phone. That's why it's called the Note Edge. It's one of the first devices to have the screen bend around to the side of the actual device. This is not the first time I've seen Samsung sort of create a secondary display. If we go all the way back on the Wayback Machine, we can look at the Samsung Continuum as one of the devices that sort of had an independent sort of secondary display to display information with it. But here with the Note Edge, it's basically all one display, but the software recognizes that sort of strip right there on the side, and it allows you to interact with it differently. So some of the things that they add to it, they call it the Edge Screen UX, and there's going to be a software development kit for it. So some of the things that we saw during the event is a ticker board, saw some sports scores that you could put on it. It had Express Me where you can put your own photo there. It has some quick tools. It had a night clock. It had a whole bunch of other different features and stuff that you can sort of add to it. One of the cool things I saw as well too is that if you start to open the camera and take a picture, it actually puts the controls on that side there, so it's out of the way of the screen, so you get a bit of a bigger viewfinder, and it makes it a little bit easier to take panoramic photos such and so on, as you kind of see here in its example. Now, the Note 4 Edge is really coming at it in a way sort of like, let's just see if this works. Samsung is throwing something out there just to see if we're going to see something a little, see if this sticks. The Note was pretty much that type of thing as well too. Well, let's see what the market thinks about this and still see what consumers think, and let's see if people will buy it or not. So it's pretty cool. I really like the look of it. It's a very futuristic look to it as well too. The one criticism I would say is that I wish the display went from edge to edge, so it also went on the left side as well too, and also the right side would just be kind of that cool sort of very futuristic look that's gonna stand out, and it's gonna sort of make people think, oh, what do you have there? That's pretty cool. It's very different, and I'm glad Samsung is doing something very different. We've been waiting for that for a long time, not from Samsung but in the market in general here. So some of the questions that are going to be raised is, can this display take a drop? If it drops on that right side, is it going to be able to take that impact? What type of cases you're going to be able to get with this phone? There's so many really unanswered questions, but it's going to really be determined once it hits the market as to what this is going to be all about. So it's really cool. I'm very excited for it, and I'm glad that Samsung is trying something new here. So that's the Note Edge, and essentially it's really two great devices that Samsung has put out here in the Galaxy Note 4 and the Note Edge, and I think a lot of people are going to go out there and pick it up. But share your thoughts on it here. Let me know what you think of these two devices here. Do you think it's something that's very interesting, or you think Samsung is sort of kind of bored you here a little bit, or you think they're kind of taking it to the next level, or maybe you're just indifferent? Or if you have any specific questions, please post them in the comments below. Let's get a good discussion talking about this here. Also, be sure to check out our hands-on video of both the Galaxy Note 4 and the Note Edge. We have some independent videos that shows you a little bit more deeper detail about each one of those there. And also be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page here and connect with us on all our social networks and on our main website at BWOne. I want to thank you for watching this video, and always remember to live your tech world in high definition.